Sometimes the Inaka can get a little boring. I mean, it's fantastic to live here and everything, but sometimes you kinda need to get out. And that's when you put your dog into the car and let him go absolutely aerodynamic turbo mode. Just look at him go. Now he's super happy because we're doing domestic tourism Japanese style with a 1-day road trip to Hiroshima. Yeah, that's right. We're going out. Well, isn't this a flattering angle? We're kicking it off with this angle that you're never gonna see again, and this voiceover because I'm a passenger in the car and my father-in-law was blasting music so loud I wouldn't have been able to do an intro. Today we're doing a 2.5-hour drive from Okayama to Hiroshima, and it's gonna be great. Since I'd never been to Hiroshima before, despite it being a literal 2-hour drive away from me, I'm sorry, I'm kinda lazy, okay? I like it here. I never knew that the city of Kure, which is neighboring Hiroshima City in Hiroshima Prefecture, kinda smells like the city called Moss in Norway. Like stale asshole a little bit. Like someone lightly used some toilet paper to wipe and left it out in the sun a little. The reason Moss in Norway smells like that, it's because they have a bunch of like paper mills and that makes that smell. But Kure, apparently it's known for shipbuilding, and I had no idea both paper mills and manufacturing shipyards smelled like the same kind of shit. You learn something new every day. On the way to Hiroshima, we decided to stop by this nice Viewpoint while waiting for our lunch reservation. The place is called Kenmin no Hama, and it had a neat little shop that sold a bunch of souvenirs, Hiroshima lemons, and Oden for some reason. Oden is a winter food and also extremely overrated, by the way. Don't know why they have that here, but alright. The Viewpoint is overlooking the Kenmin no Hama beach and gives you a nice view of the smaller islands surrounding the area. You know, the weather was kind of meh, so you can't really see shit, but we managed to waste some time there and have a little break before going to lunch. And obviously the only thing to eat when you're in Hiroshima for the first time is Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki, baby. Hell yeah! Now, Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki is the counterpoint to Osaka's okonomiyaki, and that swill vomit that Tokyo likes to call monjayaki. Now, what separates the Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki from the Osaka-style okonomiyaki one is that while the Osaka okonomiyaki is more dense and compact, the Hiroshima-style one is a little bit more airy in between its layers. And as a huge fan of carb-on-carb action, as you can see by my BMI, the Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki has a layer of, yakisoba noodles in it as well, so what's not to like? Osaka-style okonomiyaki has all its ingredients mixed into the batter, whereas the Hiroshima-style uses the batter as just one of many layers. So you get like a little nice crispy layer of some pancakey things there, and then you stack it up. Now, I gotta say, I've been living here for a long time. I've never been to Hiroshima, and this was my first time ever trying Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki. And, you know, despite being an avid Osaka fan, and of course a fan of the Osaka okonomiyaki, I gotta say it was pretty damn good. You know, the space between the layers really lets the ingredients shine on their own, you know? You get a little crisp and a little crunch and a little bit of, it's kind of nice. The Hiroshima style just feels more crispy in a sense with all the air in between the layers. If you've had both, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, in my opinion, I'm an Osaka boy, and, Osaka still wins in the okonomiyaki war. Now, that's just my opinion, though, and my sweet old grandma-in-law did not hesitate to order the Osaka/Kansai style immediately, because, that's how it is when you live in Osaka, you gotta represent. Now, Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki is something that absolutely should not be missed if you're in the area. Another thing that you shouldn't miss is Miyajima, of course. Miyajima is probably one of the most popular islands when it comes to tourism in Western Japan, and it's all thanks to this glorious floating torii gate. The gate is situated in the water, and you can actually walk to it during low tide. I'll show you guys that in a bit, because first I want to share a little story about what happened at the ferry terminal. Now, when we arrived at the ferry terminal, there was a lot more tourists than I've seen in any space in Japan for as long as I've been living here. White people everywhere. Of course, it's a very popular tourist destination, but what I hadn't considered is that, my dogs are very cute and they go on all the trips that we do, and people love dogs. While my father-in-law and I was waiting for the rest of the family to buy some ocha, some tea for everyone, we were standing outside like holding the dogs, and we got absolutely swarmed by tourists. They even wanted to take photos of them and like asked me to like move aside so I could like hold Kotaro up, my brown little dog. Well, I guess my dogs are just more famous than me, so smash like and subscribe on the channel, make me more famous than the dog so I can rub it into their face later. It's kind of a cool experience getting swarmed like that, but also kind of scary. I was standing there just shooting the shit with my father-in-law, like talking about, oh, Miyajima, it's gonna be great. Suddenly it's like an entire Italian tour group just zoom, and I felt like I was in the BTS. Kind of scary, but kind of fun. And they were all nice. Nobody was like forcefully petting my dogs. They were, they were asking, "Oh, can I touch him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was telling Kotaro into his ear, "Hey, be a good fucking boy right now. Don't bite anybody." The ferry is also really cheap and really easy to use. It's the JR ferry, easy. 480 yen will get you to Miyajima and back to the ferry terminal. Miyajima, also called Itsukushima, is indeed a very beautiful island, and the ferry ride only took like 10 minutes tops. They even have a Starbucks here, wow! Miyajima is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is mostly known for its floating Torii Gate landmark. I was lucky enough to arrive at the Torii Gate just as it was kind of low tide, so I could show you guys that you can actually walk up to the floating Torii Gate. There's a little water left, but I swear I saw some American chick walk next to it for a selfie, and it was about waist deep, so do it if you dare. There's also a nice temple here you can visit, but you gotta pay for that. It kinda took me by surprise that Miyajima has a bunch of deer walking around, exactly like Nara. The thing is that in Miyajima, the deer are more docile and chill, whereas, in Nara, they will follow you around, stalk your ass, and try to bite your pockets if they think you have snacks. They don't do that here in Miyajima. Anyways, they function as kind of deities and shrine protectors here, which is pretty cool. The island is also known for nature worshipping. Now, not like tree hugger, full vegan vibes, but more like an appreciation for nature in general. Walking around the little town here, you'll find many nice streets with a lot to offer. Restaurants, pubs, bars, izakayas, souvenir shops, Starbucks, konbinis and ATMs on every corner. You really can enjoy yourself for quite some time here. I sure as hell know I did. And I would recommend anyone to take a trip to Miyajima at least once if you're in the area. I mean, come on. I usually never recommend very touristy things, but this one is definitely not overrated. After a couple of hours of walking around and thoroughly enjoying the island, I was pretty much done. My family, on the other hand, was not. So I had to find somewhere in the shade to sit down before my extremely pale skin would be looking like the crispy skin on a fried pork belly. Yes, I forgot to put on sunscreen. After enjoying the sights there, I decided to go back near to the ferry terminal for a refresher, while the family was doing some souvenir shopping. Luckily, I found this kick-ass whiskey bar that made a super cheap whiskey and coke with ice and Hiroshima lemon. Under 500 yen for the cup, and each subsequent refill was 200 yen per refill. I drank a bunch and was pretty blessed. Very nice. Eventually, my family members finished their shopping and we hopped on to a very nice and breezy ferry ride back into the mainland to drive 50 minutes backtracking to where we came from to, go to the place we were going to stay for a night. We'll be staying at this cool futuristic capsule-looking thing, I guess. Sci-fi cabin? Let's call it the sci-fi cabin. It was pretty dope, and it had a pretty fantastic view as well. Although we were going to have to sleep side by side like the fucking bears in Goldilocks, I was pleasantly surprised at how nice this place really was. Came with a karaoke machine, Wi-Fi, very nice bath, which I possibly forgot to, video. But if I did, it's going to be over my face here right now. And if not, you'll be looking at this. The place came with coal and a nice welcome to the cabin plate of gigantic oysters that we, barbecued, as one should. The host told us that the oysters came from right out there in the ocean, and what we can see right there on the water is oyster traps. This might be the shortest traveled food I've ever consumed. In addition to the oysters, we also had the standard fare when it comes to yakiniku. Beer, you can't forget the beer. Various cuts like harami, karubi, gyutan, and horumon. Now, horumon is a love it or hate it thing, and I love it. It's like chewy bubble gum with a concentrated beef flavor. I know that doesn't sound very delicious to most people, but try it. And in addition to barbecuing those, my father-in-law, who is an Okayama man born and raised, wanted to make some hormon yaki udon, which is a well-known staple from Okayama. Basically like yaki udon, stir-fried udon noodles with the added hormon and a different, more garlicky, savory, delicious sauce. What can go wrong? After hours of traveling around, Turbo Dog took a well-deserved nap while we got situated and kept on barbecuing. There's something that awakens my inner Viking when I eat roasted meat next to the sea. It's pretty great. The cabin itself was a bit cramped, but not too bad since we'd just be sleeping in there anyways. The temperature was good enough to sit outside until bedtime, and after shredding some more karaoke, we were just sitting outside enjoying the feast and beer. Ah, good times. We also had a bunch of vegetables and brought a mini gas-driven yakiniku machine ourselves, so we'd have, the meat on the big one and the veggies on the small one, so you can multitask, right? It was such a great feast, pork belly, chicken wings, man. Just looking at it right now doing voiceover, I'm getting hungry. I'm fat. Basically, you can never go wrong with yakiniku in Japan. As the sun was going down, everything became super quiet and nice. Not even a single bug was out. It was pretty glorious. No bugs next to the sea? What the hell, man? When the sun went down, all the lights came on automatically. This fridge too, telling me how cool that was. There's something special about nighttime with lights and everything. I just dig it. I don't know about you guys, but I have a thing for nighttime and lights. Don't judge me. They even lit up this extremely dry looking plant in the corner as if it's something super important, and it kind of made me laugh my ass off like 3 beers in. All in all, a day well spent, and my father-in-law was tired from all the sightseeing and driving, so he decided to pass out Stephen Hawking style in the chair while I considered sitting in that hanging egg chair, knowing full well it would just break immediately. Look at that flimsy thing. Can't hold my ass up, that's for sure. Now, this was a fantastic stay, and Hiroshima definitely delivered despite not spending any time in Hiroshima City. That's gonna be in the future, when I go there specifically to make content for myself instead of piggybacking on a spur-of-the-moment trip that my in-laws paid for. When they're paying for it, I have no authority to make executive decisions, so I just gotta tag along and video what I can video, baby. So I'll come back to Hiroshima City and do like a week stay, so I can show you guys around and do's and don'ts and all that stuff. But that's coming up later. To be able to afford that, you need to go check out the Patreon and the memberships, please. Thank you and thank you. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more Japan content like this, please subscribe down there and click the like on your way up to help out the channel. You can support the content even harder, daddy, by checking out the Patreon and the YouTube memberships. Now, I know I'm not offering too much there right now, but I have grand plans. Just let the channel grow a little bit more, and there'll be lots of Patreon exclusive content and YouTube membership exclusive content, alright? So it's coming up, and I'm running out of hair. You know how it is. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!